there was a case that was really weird that for years I've thought is so interesting about. It was like Charlie or something was his name, but it was this kid that somebody picked up on a ham, like a CB radio,
Yeah.
calling for help, saying his truck had flipped with his dad, and his dad was unconscious, and he was stuck.
Yeah.
And it launched this like 2-week investigation where like it was in Arizona, I think, or New Mexico, and they just went like looking for this kid, but they never found him. They went to like the area that he said he was in, and there was no evidence of a crash or anything. And so it's like, was it a hoax? Was it real? But like enough people heard it and heard him across the radio that it's like,
ugh, that's crazy. So
yeah.
it was like a ghost kid maybe, or it was like a kid doing a prank?
I mean, it's it's either I'm getting chills.
I know. I was like, you said that somehow.
It always just every time I think about this case, it's either it was bogus,
yeah,
and somebody was pranking all these like radio enthusiasts, or he was a ghost. Because they do. And this is I'm a believer, but I'm a careful believer. So this is like, I don't believe in everything, but they do say that if ghosts exist, that they can manipulate energy, stuff like TVs and radio. So it would make sense that it would use some sort of like electromagnetic thing to communicate. Or I think the more fun theory is walls between dimensions, and they were picking up a broadcast from another dimension.
Dude,
yeah,
that's such a good movie premise too. Even if it's real and like people, like real things happen, that would also be such a cool like. I mean, Stranger Things-esque.
I'm a big believer that like a lot of supernatural phenomena could be just the walls between dimensions. There's a theory for ghosts that I love, which is, I don't even know if I fully believe it, but there's a theory that the ghosts aren't like the spirits of deceased people, but what it is in this place in space and time, we are occupying this space, but in another dimension, someone else is occupying this exact same space. And that cup right there, in our dimension, it falls, we go, oh my God, a ghost. But in their dimension, it was a person reaching for that cup. The walls got so thin, they knocked it over. In their dimension, it also got knocked over in ours.
Whoa.
You know?
I've never thought of it that way, but that's so cool.
Yeah.
What do you think causes, if that were to be real, like that to break, you know?
I'm sure some scientists would tell us.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
That's such an interesting, like, it's sort of, did you ever watch Interstellar?
Yeah.
Sort of when his hand comes through. Yeah. Wow. That's such an interesting thing of like, because then you could really blame the dog or whatever dimension. Yeah. Like something happened, you know what I mean?
One of our whale that we have been building up to for years, and I know a lot of our listeners we have one specific listener who's like, dude, you got to do this. And I'm like, yeah, man, it's coming. Have you ever heard of the Count of Saint Germain?
Sounds very familiar. Yeah.
It's so crazy, right? We have just been waiting for our podcast Captain's Log to be at the right place for us to tackle it. But essentially, it might be a real vampire. So the Count of Saint Germain is this guy who has been spotted throughout history, and he just keeps popping up in different points of history.
Yeah.
Like the big one was, I think in the 70s in New Orleans, a woman said that a man took her into this like really nice residence and tried to attack her, and he tried to bite her neck, and she ran away. And so that was like kind of when it came to the zeitgeist. Yeah. And then people started doing research, and it was like it could just be, it's like a Zorro thing, right? Where it's like a title that's passed from guy to guy. Yeah. But like throughout history, this Count of Saint Germain keeps popping up in these moments in time. Like he was in the royal court, and that's why there's some like credence to it, because like there is historical records of this person that is described as like this eccentric, like aristocrat who was very close friends with the King of France at one point, and he was at court, and then it goes from like France to like England to like America, and it's just crazy. Like it's like, could this be this guy who's like either an alchemist or a real life vampire? They say a lot of the stories involved are about him like having vampiric traits. But this has been like, we first heard about it when we started the podcast in like 2019. And I was like, we should cover this, but my co-host smartly was like, let's wait until we're like, we've got a following like this, because it is going to be an undertaking, I think, as far as research goes, because it's gonna be so much. I mean, every once in a while we do these episodes where it's a series that it's the research kills me.
Yeah.
In a good way, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like I'm literally like something in Seven, or like I'm like in Zodiac, and I'm like
Jake Gyllenhaal
clipping,
just sitting in there,
like I'm
losing everything.
One time I remember we covered a series that took us about a year. It was on this Mormon offshoot cult called the Church of Lamb of God, and their leader Ervil LeBaron. And that took us like a year because 6 episodes, and it was just this great book that we read. And then I was like driving down at the downtown library and like looking at the reports that they had, and like
so cool.
I was down in the basement like researching it. And I was like, wow, I feel
There's
like a
no
real
basements in California.
Yeah. I feel like a real investigative reporter, you know?
So cool, dude. Like
but every once in a while I'm like, no, let's just read an article online.
Yeah. I don't need to go to the library today, but it's so cool. That's
that's one that I'm very excited to talk about.
Yeah, and I'll be listening because I'm already like piqued and interested. Because that's there's so many like things I've seen actually about like, because I don't remember when photography was invented, but there's sort of like we couldn't prove that somebody was around, like like that, but there's been like some photographs I've seen of people being like, this guy looks very similar here, and then 100 years later, and sort of this like weird thing, even with celebrities. Where there's like lookalikes.
It's like Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
And you're like, that
what? Nick, what are you doing? But
I'm a vampire.
I'm doing a vampire. Do you think like people could either be a vampire, or do you think people have time traveled like that?
Well, I mean, again, I told you I love the idea of like dimensional and sort of like space-time stuff. I don't know. It could be. I want to believe in time travel so bad because I want to do it. Yeah. Like I'll literally lay in bed sometimes. I mean, as a kid, I did this all the time, but even now I'll be like, God, if I went back to one moment in time, I would have so much fun. You know, like I'd be in there and I'd be like, I'd be wearing my toga and then, you know. But so cool. It could be, I mean, one of my favorite shows ever is Big Nerd, and Doctor Who is one of my. I love Doctor Who. Yeah. And one of my favorite things that I felt like was never fully explored was when Doctor Who came back in like 2005 with Christopher Eccleston. Like the first episode, Rose, she meets Rose, who ends up being his companion. She meets this guy who's like devoted his life to tracking the Doctor across time, and he's like, this same guy shows up at the Kennedy assassination, and here he is, you know, at the this disaster and this and blah blah. And that, as a kid, I was like, it's kind of scary, and I really liked that premise of like this mystery of like this person keeps showing up across all time, in these photographs or whatever. And I thought that was a premise they should have followed more. They never really, aside from that one episode, but like that kind of scares me. Like every once in a while, I mean, like I said, I like to call myself a careful believer, which means I believe in the possibility of things, but I'm one of those people that's like, I have to eliminate everything logical before I'm like ghost, alien, whatever. Right? Yeah. And every once in a while, I'll come across these things online, where it's like, this is a picture from 1922, and this person's wearing modern sunglasses, and I'm like, I mean, if that's real, that's really scary. Oakley's? I don't like that. I'm like, no, no.
No, I also think because it's like, I think the in Oppenheimer, Robert Downey Jr.'s character, his quote about power stays in the shadows. Like, if a time traveler went back in time to make himself or herself the most powerful person, we would know about it. They would probably get killed off like pretty quick. But a person that would be smart would just stay in the shadows the entire time. So those random photographs of like, that's a weird hat or a pair of sunglasses. That's kind of a weird coincidence to see them. It's creepy. It's very creepy.
But ever since I was a kid, I mean, that's why I still do the podcast and have an interest in it. Ever since I was a kid, I loved being scared. Like I liked getting scared. I mean, I hated it. But I also was kind of like
the thrill.
I mean, still to this day, and my friends were always like, "That's insane." I'll just watch horror movies by myself. I'll be like, "Ooh, I'm a little scared right now." Sometimes I love to watch like the Bizarre Bub or like Nuke's Top 5 videos on YouTube of like ghost sightings, and I'll watch a couple in a row, and then I'm like, okay, I gotta watch something funny now.
Yeah. Pull some. Whose line is it anyway? Or something. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I watched The Substance with noise canceling headphones the other night, and that was brutal. That's insane. It was the most disgusting horror movie. Like, it was disgusting. But yeah, sometimes too, I watch them alone. And I'm like, why did I do that? That was awesome, but why did I do that? Yeah,
I don't know. I think I just think that's such like a human thing. This I think it's like maybe the rush, the kind of like adrenaline rush that you get. That's why we like being scared. I don't know. That's a question that I've asked myself for a while. Like, why do we like being scared?
Yeah.
Why true crime?
Why
true crime?
Why do we? Yeah. Why do we want to know? Do we want?
We do. We have this weird, because my co-host and I ask ourselves sometimes when we cover these. I mean, we don't glorify or like. Our podcast is a comedy podcast, but it's also true crime.
Yeah.
So we walk this fine line. But I like going into details because I feel the story needs it.
Yeah.
We don't glorify any of the violence or the things that happen, but there's this question that we've always asked ourselves, like, what is this obsession, this human obsession with like the morbid? And I think it's because it makes us feel alive. Yeah. Like when we talk about death, we're like, but I'm alive, and that's good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so true.
And then and people, I said like, why true crime now? That's like such a thing in the true crime field of people being like, there's this weird obsession with it now. No, it's always been.
It's always been.
We've talked about cases from the 1800s where it's like a whole family was slain, and the next day there were people lining up to see the crime scene.
Oh my gosh!
So it's like we've always had this weird like. Ooh, I want to know. Wait, what happened?
Yeah,
I want to know.
What happened?
Yeah, exactly. People are like stealing like evidence from the scene because they're like, I got the pillow sheet that the guy's head was on or whatever, and you're like, that's like, what the hell?
Take it to Goodwill. Yeah, you gotta look at it. Yeah. Well, it's also why like the 405 is always backed up. People got to look at the car. They're like, what's going on?
Every time I get up to what happened, and I'm like, oh, people were just looking at this, I get so mad. Yeah, like guys, this is why I spent 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's just a guy on the side of the road changing a tire, and everybody's like.
We're like, wow.
We're gonna see what he's doing.
So cool. Yeah, dude. Crazy. Well, dude, thanks for being on, Jose.
Of course.
Welcome to By Coincidence.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I was trying to think. We met, it was about a year ago. Was it May? Or was it June?
I think it was June. Yeah. I think it was like a month in between the two.
Yeah.
Because the second one was July. So yeah, it was June.
Yeah, because we separated the filming.
Right.
But we did a short film. It was, I think it's called now, This Was Supposed to Be a Love Story.
Right.
It was really fun. It was just like a coming of age.
Yeah, so it was a project that my friend Nick was doing where he was doing like 8 short films. It was like one big film, an anthology, and it was 8 short films. And you were in the opening one, which was that's what it was called, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what the second one was called. I think Help or something. Like
yeah, I think
he called
so,
it Help initially, and then I think he changed the name.
Yeah.
We shot it at someone's grandparents' house in the hills, which was crazy.
It was crazy.
It was like what, 3 days of shooting?
Yeah. First day was the party scene. A bunch of people were there, and then after
which was
the first day,
I was the assistant director. Which is how we met.
Yep.
And you were the lead.
Yeah.
And that day was so fun because we had a house full of extras, and it's also like for people that watch movies. And there's like a dance scene in it, and you're thinking like, wow, this looks so silly. It's even sillier on set because there's usually no music playing because you can't, right?
Yeah.
And that was what cracked me up, was having to see you. Nick would be like, okay, now dance, now do it again. And I'm like, there's no music. This is so awkward.
It's like people's feet tapping.
I'm looking down because I'm like, I can't. I'm going to laugh if I look at him.
I know. I just like, my heart was just like in my stomach of like,
I remember telling my friend Nathan, who was on it, I was like, dude, this guy's a trooper, because I couldn't do it so many times. Like,
I think that is the hardest thing in acting. I mean,
also those extras were so loud.
Yeah, they were.
And we again, it was a neighbor. Look, it's in the Hollywood Hills, so everyone that lives there is like old people.
Yeah,
and we didn't have permits.
No.
And Nick just kept being like, if anyone shows up, we'll say it's for you two. It'll be fine. I'm like, I don't think that's true.
No.
And then we were in the road shouting. But that was like the after the first day. But we had this all these extras, and in between scenes, I was like, guys, you'll be outside but you have to be quiet. Yeah, sure. And then they're all just being so loud. And I'm like, it's 11 p.m. We're gonna get shut down. If you guys don't shut up right now. Like,
They're like, sorry, and we're talking about cool shit on Netflix.
Like, okay, God, yeah.
Please chill out.
So many extras are background is always so interesting.
Yeah.
God bless them.
Yeah.
I mean, they're necessary.
We need them. Yeah.
But the characters that you get with some background talent is always so funny.
The first time I was ever a background, the guy with the hat.
You remember that? There's a guy with like a big hat with like a feather in it. You don't remember this?
Dude, I think you're seeing more ghosts.
We had to.
Dude. Actually, was it like a red hat? Yeah, with a feather. Yeah, I was like, is death here? Am I here to die?
Turning and being like, oh, okay.
Craigslist is a wonderful site. Yeah, did we get him off there? Yeah.
I mean, again.
But I've been an extra. I've probably been the weird guy on set too.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But the first time I ever was an extra, like I was meeting with people, and the guy was like, "Yeah, I just quit meth last week," and I was like, "Yeah, we know, we can tell, we can tell." He was reading a book. It was like How Not to Be a Meth Addict for Dummies, and I was like, "Bro." So it's like
I applaud you, but it's obvious.
But then also you meet like a dude, and I still kind of am friends with this guy that I met one time being an extra. So but it is the most like. Just you never know who you're gonna get with an extra, and most of the time when you make your own stuff, you like hope to be able to get people as extras. But sometimes you're like on a college campus, you're making a film, and you're like, I just need a bunch of people to show up from college, and then it's
every once in a while you're talking to someone and they're like, I'm actually the heir to the Capri Sun empire. I just do this for fun. And you're like, what? You're not even a lead in this?
I'm gonna stomp that pouch and see what happens. It's true. No, but so we did that, and it was one of my favorite things I've gotten to work on. It was just very grounded.
I mean, like he's the way he can like come up with lighting plans and camera angles. Like it always. I literally when I was doing a shoot in Chicago. And they're like, how do we light this? And I was like, hang on. And I was watching the behind the scenes of him to see how he had lit this. Actually? And I was like, oh, this is how we did it.
You're like, give me 5 minutes. Yeah. And then you come back.
Because we were trying to get like a soft light. And I was like, he's got this thing called like the waterfall technique. I'm like, how did he do it? And it's where he like shoots a massive light and then he drapes like a muslin or a silk over it. But just like the way that he thinks about that. Yeah. Where he's like, every time we'll do these pre-pro meetings and he's like, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. And as AD, I'm like, oh, there's no way we're doing this. Like, no, I've got a plan. Don't worry. And then we show up, and he's like, so we're gonna put the camera here, and we're gonna shoot this, and then we're gonna flip it, and then we're done. And I'm like, oh yeah, nice. Okay, great.
Yeah.
He's a very talented guy.
Yeah, but we were talking. We got to talk about that. You spent some time in Iowa, and that's where I'm from. So it was like cool to catch up on that and like talk to someone who knows what Hy-Vee is.
Right.
And all
Hy-Vee.
So
where in Iowa are you from again?
Des Moines.
That's
West Des Moines specifically, but So I grew up there. So then coming out here was such a like culture shock, but I feel like I've gotten pretty used to it, or just like
I like to think I collect these people who all went to Iowa.
Yeah,
like
you find them like
anytime I'm literally like. Have you seen The Nice Guys?
Yeah, dude.
So when he's at the bar, Ryan Gosling and the guy's like, "What can I get you?" And he's like, "No," and then he goes,
"Free drinks. What do you have?"
That's how I am whenever I hear Iowa. I'm like,
huh?
What?
Yeah.
The minute I hear someone say Iowa, I'm like, oh my God, where from?
Whoa.
Yeah. Because it's just like it's such a weird little pocket of my life that I cannot relate to with anyone.
No.
Because all the people I know from Iowa are either still there or in a different state.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I'll tell the LA people, I lived in Iowa for 2 years. And they're like, that's great. I don't even know where that is.
I think I flew over there.
Don't care.
Yeah.
So it's so fun to like talk to people and then, talk about like, do you remember Hy-Vee? You remember Casey's Pizza?
Yeah.
You ever had Casey's breakfast
Adventureland? Did you ever go to Adventureland? Yeah.
So it's like, it's like you. And then I've got a couple other friends that I met who also are from Iowa or went to school in Iowa or lived in Iowa. And just anytime it's like someone from Iowa, I'm like, I gotta be friendly with this person.
We got He can weave a basket probably. Right. Yeah. But you're a filmmaker yourself.
I am.
Tell me a little bit more about what you want to be when you grow up.
Yeah, well, when I grow up, I want to be financially stable.
Yeah, good luck.
In this industry. No, I want to be a writer director is what I primarily like to shop myself around as. I mean, you met me as an AD, so I do a lot of AD work just to be on set. But primarily, I like to act. As a kid, I always wanted to be an actor.
Yeah.
But then I was really shy as a kid, which I was like, this doesn't make any sense. How am I gonna like be an actor if I'm too scared to like talk to people?
Right.
But writing and directing, like that's my passion. I mean, I like to think I've grown as a writer, but directing just feels like breathing. Like it's such second nature to me, and I love collaborating with talent. I love finding the characters. I love finding the story, and like there's this like I feel like a proud dad when the talent and I have been talking about like, you know, what are we wanting out of this scene? What where does this character need to be? You know, we do a take and it's like, yeah, it's not quite it. We do another take, and it's not. This is a thing that I think a lot of people misconstrue. It's not always on the talent. Sometimes you give bad direction, and I think a lot of directors need to know that.
Right.
And it's not even bad in the sense that it's like, oh, you're a bad director. Just like that was the wrong direction.
Yeah.
And I like to think I'm pretty like on that, where I'll give a note and then we do it, and I'm like, that was the wrong note. Actually, that was not right. This is, you know, but you do that, you know, and then you get a take where you just nail it, and I'm like, look at my son, you know, I'm like, wow,
so good, good
so
job, buddy.
good. But like, I love that. I love directing. Just as like, it's like breathing.
Yeah,
I love it.
yeah, that's so cool. And you've talked about it a little bit. Like I read some interviews that you did. You've talked a little bit about when directors go, my movie.
Yeah, it's my biggest pet peeve.
It's your biggest pet peeve?
Yeah,
because it's such a. You tell me a little bit more about why that's one of your pet peeves.
I mean, it's so. I think it's so selfish, and I think it's erasure of like the crew and the cast. I do look. If you wrote the script and you're directing it, yes, it is your idea. But the minute that you bring in someone to talk about it with, the minute that you start having meetings with department heads, the minute that you get on set, the minute that you're like shooting, it is no longer your movie.
Right.
Because it belongs to everyone down to the caterers and the PAs, you know?
Yeah.
And like, it really, to me, it bugs me because as a kid, I'd grow up and I'd hear these directors say, my movie. And I was like, man, this one guy did this whole thing, huh? And then the older I got, I was like, it's kind of shitty to say my movie because it's like 500 people worked on this, right?
Yeah.
Like, so what? They don't matter just because you're at the top of the call sheet? Like,
yeah.
You know, like it feels wrong. And I don't think a lot of people say it with malintent, but like it just really bugs me because I think, and I still correct people. Like I have one of my films right now that's doing the festival circuit, and my crew or cast would be like, "Oh, you did such a good job on this film." I'm like, because like, yeah, I wrote it, I directed it, but you acted, you brought the character to life. Like, you know, Nick was our DP. Nick shot it. Like he made the visual language for the film. It is, whether he wants it to be or not, it is just as much his film as it is mine because it wouldn't work without him.
Yeah, exactly.
And so this idea of filmmakers being like, yeah, my film, my movie. I'm like, you had about like 400 other people that were carrying you. So maybe let's give a little bit of credit to them. You know, I think there's this misconception. I think it's getting better that film is not collaborative. And I think that is such a disservice because film is inherently collaborative. It takes a village to make a film. And this idea that like, well, the industry's cutthroat, I have to look out for me. No, that's just so, I have no interest in that. I don't want to work in an industry where things are like that. I want to work in an industry where it's, I have this idea, you have this idea, let's help make your idea because I know that if we make your idea, we can make my idea.
Yep.
Or like sometimes, you know, I'll be offered a gig that I'm like, that's great. I can't do it, but you know who can? My friend can.
Oh, that's one of my favorite things to be able
because
to do,
it's like one of the things I say this to employers all the time that I'm like, my ego is not big enough that I'm going to ruin this for you. And that's not me being like downplaying myself and not being hungry enough. I am, but I am also smart enough to recognize I can't do this job. And if I do this job, I'm going to fuck it up.
Yeah.
So let me get you someone who's not going to fuck it up.
Yeah.
You know? And I think a lot more people need to see it that way.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I hate the whole my movie thing. Film is collaborative.
Absolutely.
It belongs to everyone.
Absolutely. And it's so much more fun when it's collaborative.
Yeah.
When you find the right people to be in the right positions where you can go, I know this person succeeds here. I would be a failure here.
Yeah.
That is such a rewarding feeling. And also, when something doesn't, like, there's a conflict and you can't do something, to be able to go, oh, I know somebody that can.
Right.
I love that feeling.
Yeah.
Many people like want to go into film to be like a director, to go,
Right.
this is my movie.
Right.
But what are some aspects of being a filmmaker and that world that are kind of underappreciated, that like a role in film that maybe not everyone knows about, that's super integral, that you love?
Grips. I mean, I don't love being a grip.
Right.
It's not for me.
Yeah.
But grips, I mean, that's the whole, again, there's so many jobs on a film set that, like, if you take that out, it's like it's Jenga, right? And the whole thing collapses.
Yeah.
But grips, I mean, they're the guys who are moving all the guys and gals who are moving all the stands and setting up the heavy lights and like laying down cable and everything. They're like, that's the closest to physical labor.
Yeah.
I mean, it is, right? Yeah. But that's like closest to like a blue collar job on a film set.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I did it once. Nick was actually the guy he was the gaffer and I was his grip, and I was like, this is great. It's not for me though. Yeah. But it is such an integral part of a film set. Like, absolutely. I'm so thankful to my grips, because they're working the full 12 hours. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yep. They might get a break when the scene is being shot for 2 minutes or whatever. Yeah. But they're working nonstop, right? Lifting shit, moving shit. Like, it's same thing with PAs. Yeah. Oh yeah. I've been a PA and I do like PAing. That's how that was like the first thing I ever did on a film set. Mm-hmm. And I love my PAs. Whenever I direct something, I'm always making sure that, like, hey, let's make sure we take care of the PAs, because I'm like, I remember where I came from. You know? And you just get, it's fun because you get to run around a bunch of different departments and see how things work, but also you have to run around and get stuff for everyone, and remember things. Yep. It's like a waiter, but without the tips. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I also think, like, as an actor, it's the same kind of thing where I think it's really important to start at kind of the extra, or if you're on stage in high school, be the fence post in the play, so that you can kind of have an appreciation for the people that just start,
I'm also a big believer that I think anyone who wants to be a director should take an acting class at some point.
Oh, yeah.
You have to understand the actor's mentality and what they go through to know how to give direction. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I've done AD work, and I work with some directors that are all great, but their directing isn't the best. Yeah. And I'm like, I can tell this guy's never acted before, or even talked to an actor. You know what I mean? Yep. Like really talk to an actor, because I'm like, if I was acting for this person, I wouldn't know what the hell they mean right now. Yeah. And anytime I give a direction, I'm always like, what's the direction I would like? Yeah. Right. Like because like, again, I said, I've done some acting. So it's like, I always think, like, what would I need to hear to perform this? Right. To do this.
Yeah. Dance a little better in the quiet. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No.
And and direction is so, I mean, one of my favorite books is Directing Actors by Judith Weston. And it just changed the way I look at directing. She has all these great tips and breakdown, but like, a director tells you, can you do this one a little more scared or a little more angry, right? That's one of the, I hear that one so much. It's like, what does that mean?
Yeah. Angry? Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Just, yeah. Yep.
Okay. Let's say the scene is you coming into a room. Yeah. And you're confronting your partner. Mm-hmm. And my note is, when you come in, I want you to be angry. That can be played out so many ways. Yeah. You could be angry because on your way in, you got a parking ticket. Mm-hmm. You could be angry because, right. Yeah. You could be angry in this city. You could be angry because you dropped your coffee. Mm-hmm. You could be angry because you found out they slept with your brother. You know what I mean? Like,
there's a spectrum, and that's
every little one of those will be played differently. Yeah. Because angry about a coffee is different than angry about sleeping
a little bit. Yeah.
So it's like it's stuff like that. Yeah. Another job that I'm biased, but AD.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know how integral an AD is. Mm-hmm. For people that don't know, like, a lot of people think that the director is directing the talent and the crew and everything, right? But in reality, when you're on set, the director's sole focus is the creative aspect of the film. So they're focusing on the talent and all these creative decisions. The assistant director is directing the crew. Yeah. They're the person who's making sure that the production stays on schedule, on budget, that things are moving, that there's safety being followed, like all of that, right? And I do enjoy it. It feels like, a little bit of like torture in a way, masochistic maybe, but like I do enjoy it, and that is a job that I think more people should try or at least know about, because they're so integral.
Oh yeah, it's huge,
and a good AD makes a big difference.
Oh yeah, like I've been on sets where the AD is reserved and quiet, and it changes the whole filming day.
Yeah.
Versus someone that goes, I know I might need to be a bully for a little bit to keep things moving, and sort of like a shepherd dog, it's sort of just like, come on, let's keep things moving. Sometimes like you just have to, be that guy. But
I think the two biggest tone setters are the director and the AD.
Yeah, absolutely.
If their vibe is off, the whole vibe.
Yeah. Any extra can be weird.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. The film will go on.
You could have any meth head
the meth heads.
Yeah,
they'll be weird and they'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
Yeah.
But if you've got a meth head AD, then the whole thing's gonna be interesting.
Smoke if you got it, I guess. So you went to film school, correct?
Yeah.
And that was, what was the film school again?
It was Woodbury University.
Nice. Yeah. What's something that was something you learned at film school that you still use today? And then also we can talk about later, but something that film school couldn't teach you.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of practical stuff, right? Because my background before I went to film school, when I was in Iowa, I was doing like digital communications. So I was doing like broadcasting, live events, that kind of stuff. So it's a completely different type of filming. And then, at film school, I learned what a C-stand was.
Yeah.
And how to set one up.
Yeah.
And how to tape down a cable and how to, set up all this stuff, right? Lighting and everything. So that's something that occasionally I'll still do a couple side jobs, and I use the lighting techniques at film school or the framing techniques. I think what I still use a lot in my directing is we had to take an acting class there, which was taught by I'm spacing on his name. Keith. He's got a crazy last name, but I love him. One of my favorite professors.
Yeah.
He was Donatello in Supernatural.
What? Yeah, that's great.
So he was our acting professor. And it was like this acting for filmmakers class, but he taught us, this guy, I've never met anyone who loves a craft so much. So a lot of what he taught me, I still utilize.
Yeah.
Right? I would say a lot of just understanding acting and acting techniques and a lot of like Nick does this too. A lot of like the icebreaker stuff that I'll use with my talent came from film school. Like asking questions of asking the talent questions in character. Right? Like what do you think would be your character's favorite color? And another huge thing is like my writing. Like one of the things I learned in film school was the character backstory and writing a backstory for your character. And I still do that. Every character that has some part to play, I will write a backstory for them. I still do this every once in a while, but most of the time I'll do the 100 questions as the lead character. And I'll write my answers as the lead. So I know what their mindset is. And that was like something I learned in film school that I still use. A lot of it is like more on like the theory of it,
But it's important. I think some people are like, hey, you don't need to go to film school, you don't need blah blah blah. But I do think it does a great job of kind of you get to know the lingo. Like even the C-stand, like you're talking about. If you walk into a sentence where they give a C-stand, you're like,
dude, I was
immediately people are like, okay.
I was in Chicago. They had brought this guy on to work on this project with us out of somebody's niece recommended him. This guy, God bless him, because he lied his way onto this production. This guy didn't know what striking meant. And I was like, hey, can you go, because he was essentially like our cam PA. I was like, hey, can you go strike that light? And he was like, yeah. He like walks up to it. He's like,
starts like touching it.
Yeah, strike. And I'm like, it means to turn it on. And he's like, oh. And I was like, you know what striking me? He's like, no, it's been a while. And I'm like,
you don't forget that one.
Right. You don't forget that. It's such a cool
I
word.
say striking when I turn on the lights in the kitchen. Like,
I say saving anytime I turn anything off.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
Yeah, well, it's also like time is money on set. So it's like if you don't know what strike is, it takes 3 more seconds to figure out.
Right.
So and that adds up,
I think that's something that people who aren't in film are like, why are you so stressed out? And it's like, because time is money. Yeah. Every little thing every second that we lose, we're going over budget.
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
But I think probably the biggest, if I'm thinking about it, the biggest thing I learned from film school is collaboration. Yeah. Like truly. Yeah. Because I won't lie, I went into film school with this kind of like idea of like, film is cutthroat. I have to look out for me. Right. And then I'm blessed with the friends I have, but like I quickly learned like, no, it's like about us all working together. Yeah. And like making this project doesn't work if we don't work together. Yep. And that's something I carry with me to this day is collaboration and learning and people skills.
Yeah. That's cool. Yep. What's something then when you left film school, started doing film for a little bit, what's something that you learned that you couldn't be taught at film school?
Honestly, I'm sure I could have, but they didn't. A lot of practical stuff like budgeting and like paperwork and all this kind of stuff. Like the amount of I think jobs I've lost out on because they're like, do you know how to do this? And I'm like, I don't even know what that is. Yeah, yeah. Like you've never filled out this type of graph or whatever. I'm like, no. Yeah. And I'm like, man, I wish I would have been taught, how the thinking of the budget game goes. Yeah. Yeah. I also think something that I wish they could have taught me is probably more on like how to even get a project made. Like what are the avenues to go through? Yeah. Like how to pitch. They taught us how to pitch, but like more like where do I even get started? If I have a script written, where do I do? Where do I take it to? Yeah. Yeah. I think that's something I wish they would have done. Again, I learned the practicalities, and I think in comparison to other film schools I attended, because I also went to Biola for a bit. Yeah. Like Woodbury did throw us baptism by fire. Like you're on a set now, learn how to work on a set, and that's great. Yeah. But it's like, well, what if I don't just want to be on a set? What if I want to produce? What if I want to do above the line stuff? Like, I wish I would have been taught more of that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I do think, it's a good mix. But that is also true. I'm like working on a project now, and I'm like, before I really get into it, I want to create sort of a pitch deck for it, so that I can be like, would anybody be interested in this? And it's like, how do I do that? So I've been having to research that too. But speaking of that, like as far as when you create an idea, how do you personally know when an idea is worth dedicating a lot of time to?
I think when you just can't shake it. Mm-hmm. Because I try to shake a lot of ideas.
Yeah.
I'll have an idea come to my head. I'm like, that's no good. No. Yeah. I'm not going to do
Talking
that.
Dog movie, maybe not. Yeah.
That's so stupid. What? And then I'll be laying in bed and I'm like, Talking Dog movie.
But wait.
We could get and then I'm in the shower and I'm like, Talking Dog movie.
Damn, yeah.
Driving to work. The Talking Dog movie. Wait.
You see somebody walking their dog, you're like, but what if it talked?
What if it talked? No, I mean, genuinely. I think when I can't shake an idea, that's when I'm like, okay, this might be worth exploring. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then even then, sometimes you write it down and you're like, no, it's not worth exploring, or I can't. But then sometimes you start writing down and you just don't stop. And you're like, okay, I think I have something here. Yeah. And I always like to like soft pitch it to friends. I'm like, I don't know, I'm just where I had this idea for whatever. And they're like, oh, that sounds really good. And I'm like, okay, so at least 3 people would watch it. Yeah. It's good enough for me.
That'll work. Yeah.
Because I've like said this before that I feel like I'm just God, this is so corny, but I feel like I'm just the mouthpiece for these ideas. Like I feel like I'm just the vessel for them. Yeah. Like I genuinely believe that sometimes like they come into my head and they're like, we need to get out. You need to put us out there. And sometimes I have to say no to some. Yeah. But others I'm like, okay, I have to tell this because like I'm the way that this comes to life. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Without me, this isn't gonna be told. Yeah. Yeah.
Or also, I mean, sometimes it's like, I can't tell the story. Let me tell it to someone who can, right? Like, I think you met Nathan. He was one of the ACs.
Yeah.
Tall. Yep. There's a story that I haven't been able to shake that I really want to do. I just know that I'm not right for it. I'm like, I don't think my directing style lends itself to it. I think that as a writer, I'd be a little challenged to do this. It's more of like a crime, and that's like totally up his alley, like a weird kind of crime thing. So I went to him and I was like, hey, this is the idea I have. Yeah. I would like to co-write it with you, but I think you should direct it. Yeah. And he was like, yeah, let's do it. Yeah. And he liked it a lot. So it's like, that was another one that I couldn't shake. And I was like, okay, well, I have to, but.
Yeah, that's cool. That's awesome. But a lot of your ideas, like I've read about that like representation matters and you want to uplift the Latino community, like tell me some of your ideas and your projects you've been working on to do that.
Yeah, I'm very much following the Jordan Peele kind of school of thought of like whatever my idea is, I wanted to have a Latino lead or a predominantly Latino cast. I'm not like against. Sometimes some characters just have to be Asian or you know or black or white. Like it just lends itself to the character. But I was watching this week. I watched like E.T.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I would love for there to be an ET where it's just a Latino kid living in the suburbs. Like I would love to see it. That would be so cool to see.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's like one thing, right? Step one is all my ideas. I try to. It's not. I mean, like the last film I just did, Marcella, was about a very important thing that I think needs to be talked about, which is this disparity between first, second, and third generation Mexican Americans. But not all of them are like that. Some of them are like, oh, I really want to do this story about a guy being like pursued by aliens.
Yeah.
And so then the question is like, okay, but how do I representation is big to me. So it's like, what do I do? And I'm like, okay, well, he'll be a Latino and this will play into, but because I'm also like, I'm not a believer in just like blind. This sounds, I mean, I don't know the right way to put this, but I'm not a believer in like, let's
well, that inauthentic.
Check off let's check off a
it's
box,
like, oh wait, did we cast this guy because he looks this way?
Exactly.
No. Well, yeah, we did. Yeah, and it's like you can tell when they do that, and it's just gross.
Yeah, I hate stuff where it's like, ooh, this character's gay, and that's their whole personality, and it's like, well, they're also a person.
Yeah, they have to go to the grocery store.
Not, they're not just their sexuality or their gender or whatever. Because so much of old Hollywood is like, this character is a woman. That's it. And it's like,
see how she puts on lipstick? See, she's a woman.
Yeah, and it's like, I also think she might be smart. I also think she might be.
We're like, whoa, let's slow it down there, Gabo. We gotta wait till the 2000s. Yeah.
So it's like, it's walking that fine line. But I mean, the dream would be to not only put more Latino voices in front of the camera, but also behind the camera. Having Latino department heads is big to me when I can. But sometimes there isn't. And I think that's because a lot of Latinos come from, for the most part, we come from very traditionalist cultures, and so it's like hard to shake that and like go into the arts when you're being told like the arts aren't for you. It's getting better, I think, and so it's like putting talent in front of the camera, behind the camera, and building the avenues. I've been talking a lot with Latino filmmaker friends that I have about maybe starting a film collective for Latino voices to showcase our films and have a specific space for that. It's not exclusionary, like that's not the goal at all, but it does feel like sometimes we're not getting the avenue. So it's like, well, if we're not getting the screenings, if we're not getting the exposure, well, then let's do that for ourselves. There's a group that I do stuff with that I go to a lot of their events, and I know the people who started it, called Bleach, which is great. I love what they're doing. It's connecting indie filmmakers together for networking events, on projects. It's started by Gene Evans and Zach, whose name I'm spacing, and Alec as well. And it's great. And I'm like, it would be great to have something like that for the Latino filmmakers that I know, whether that's starting like our own festival or just something like the Great Film Club, where we're not only screening. What I would love to do is something like the Great Film Club, where it's like we're not just screening each other's films, but we're screening these old Mexican films of like, the golden age of cinema, because I love these old black and white Mexican films, but also we're showing Y Tu Mamá También and Amores Perros, and because I have met so many Latino filmmakers that only believe that film happens in America. And then I'm like, oh, you're Guatemalan. Have you ever seen this incredible Guatemalan film? And they're like, oh, I didn't even know. Like we had a film industry. And I'm like, right. Yeah. And so I'd love to be able to do that and showcase more of that. And then branch out to other communities that are underrepresented, not just Latinos, other marginalized voices.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. What do you think, like, what is the impact of, like if you are able to put a Latino actor as the lead and then a kid sees that and is Latino and goes, oh,
Yeah.
I can do that. Like, that's huge, right?
Yeah.
Did that ever happen to you as a kid, or
No,
was that part of it? It's like
unfortunately, that's
you,
part of it,
yeah,
right? Is
yeah,
I mean, it's not like there isn't like Latin voices in cinema. There
right,
is, but
yeah,
like not as often, you
yeah.
know. I was gonna say I loved Mask of Zorro. However, Antonio Banderas is a Spaniard, right?
Yeah.
Even though he looks very
Right.
Mexican.
We've all seen Nacho
Right,
Libre. I mean,
right,
come on.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
was convinced. I didn't know Jack Black was not
I mean,
Mexican.
I know.
Until like I was like 18, and someone's like,
Yeah.
he's not Latino, and I was like, what?
Huh?
What are you talking about?
What? Yeah.
I was like, no, I watched that movie.
Yeah.
But I do think I mean, genuinely, I mean, so this was huge for me. Was I when we did our film,
Mm-hmm.
I sent it to my family, and my cousin showed it to her daughter, who's
Mm-hmm.
Mexican American,
Mm-hmm.
and she texted me and she was like, "Hey, I just want you to know that Athena said, look, mommy's Mexican American like me,"
Mm.
and I was like, "That's huge,
Yeah.
right?" Like for her to have that, to be able to go like, "Wow, there's this person on screen and
Yeah.
I relate to them.
Yeah.
I can." You don't. It doesn't always take race or religion or
Sure.
ethnicity to relate to someone. I mean, I loved Indiana Jones as a kid
Yeah.
because I you know, in the Last Crusade, that opening bit, he was a Boy Scout and he's this,
Yeah.
and I was a Boy Scout and I was like, I relate to this this like rebellious sort of like,
It belongs in a
yeah,
museum.
exactly,
Yeah.
which is when good writing happens, right, and
Mm-hmm.
it can transcend that.
Right.
We don't always get that,
Right.
but I think it means a lot. I think being able to see yourself in the art that you consume can lead to art being more inclusive for people.
Yeah.
And if a Latino kid can see themselves on screen, then they're more likely to create art that represents everyone.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. No, that's similar, like Indiana Jones. Like for me, it was Star Wars. I don't know if you know Star Wars at all, but there's like, do you ever watch the Clone Wars?
Yeah.
Like Ahsoka, she's this girl alien, like, right? And but for some reason, growing up watching her being trained, surviving the Clone Wars. I mean, it's a kid's show, but at the same time, I found so much of my identity in her, of just the struggle to be herself and all this sort of stuff. And I think, when artists and filmmakers create that relatability, it's huge for kids and even adults. Us now, but so I just think it's awesome across the board when representation happens, just so that people can feel invited into it and not go, oh, well, I don't look like any of them, or I don't think like any of them, so I guess this isn't for me. And I think that can happen in any industry, but especially film. So
I think, I mean, the closest I got was watching Pacific Rim as a kid and being told that's a Mexican director who made that.
Oh yeah.
I was like, what?
Huh?
Like, Guillermo del Toro directed that. And I think that was the closest of being like, well, if a Mexican can make a movie about giant robots fighting giant alien monsters, I think I can too.
Yeah,
you know
absolutely.
What I mean? Yeah. And that's the goal. I mean, again, like hearing my cousin's kid say that was like, means way more than getting any festival locals, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, festivals are nice, but like,
sure, yeah.
And that we showed it recently at the Pasadena International Film Festival, and we had someone in the audience who was like, during the Q&A section, was like, hey man, this older Hispanic gentleman, and he was like, he's Mexican American, second generation, and he was like, thanks for showing my life. He's like, that's what it was like for me and my dad, this disconnect.
Wow.
You know? And I was like, I'm first generation, right? So it's a lot of it was not guesswork, but talking to people who are second and third generation and trying to relate their stories. But that meant way more. I'm like, oh, we don't have to win anything. Yeah. Like just hearing that guy say that meant the world.
Oh yeah.
You know, like knowing that it touched someone, it impacted them. It's huge.
Yeah.
I think that's the whole point of art.
Right. You know? Because some people look at filmmaking and art as a product and they're like, I need to create this thing to do this. Yeah. But when you can make something that actually touches people in the right way of like, oh, this, I saw myself, I felt that is so rewarding more so than any product.
I get, look, and I think it's because we're on the side of filmmaking, which is artistic, right? And I know that there's probably some producers or watching this and being like, they don't understand.
They don't know. They don't make money.
I understand it's an industry. I get it. But I just don't, I'm so against seeing it as a product. I think once you start seeing art as a product, then you've lost it. And it's not art anymore.
Yeah.
Because now it's about consumerism.
Yep.
Right. And that's not what art is supposed to be.
Right.
I'm sure my parents hate to hear that. They hate to hear their son say,
Yeah.
it's not about the money. They're just like, oh God, please, no.
Our son will never buy a jet ski.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're not getting that Lake Tahoe
No,
house.
it's never gonna happen.
Sorry, mom and dad. But yeah, no, I'm very against seeing art as a product.
Yes. Yeah.
Disservice, I think. Yeah.
I'll ask you one of the last questions. What you've talked about your parents a little bit just now.
Yeah.
What's one of your favorite things about your parents?
They're funny.
Yeah.
They're very funny. I think a lot of my sense of humor, it comes from them.
Yeah.
But they're just, and everyone says this about their parents, but truly my parents, like, they are the most hardworking people I've ever met. Like, when I was a kid, we struggled a lot financially, but you wouldn't know it because my parents, they found a way, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I love about them is their indomitable human spirit.
Yeah.
Like, truly, we have gone through stuff that I know would break other people, and my parents are just like, muster on and have faith that things are going to work out. And I think that is the best thing they gave me is hope.
Yeah.
Right? And it doesn't always their hope isn't always pretty,
right?
But I think that's what I love about them is that they've just always instilled this belief that like things will work out.
Yeah.
And I'm very grateful to them for that. And I hope that like if I ever have children, I can pass some of that on to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Like I wouldn't be a filmmaker if it wasn't for my mom. I've talked about this in a bunch of the interviews that I've done, but like, because I get interviewed a lot. It's no big deal.
Yeah, every day it's just like, oh god,
whatever. I've got time after this.
Yeah, whatever.
Variety's coming over.
Yeah,
but
Oprah, what's up, dude?
Yeah, I had to cancel on Oprah.
Yeah. No, thank you for doing that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. But she, when I was in middle school, I got huge into movies, and we were really poor, and she would scrounge together whatever money she could so that I could go see a movie every week.
Yeah.
And if she hadn't done that, I don't think I'd be in where I am now.
Yeah.
That's
so cool.
And my dad, God bless him, he didn't understand it, but he would go see every fucking Transformers and Marvel movie with me, and he'd sit there and he'd go, "The truck's a robot." Okay, all right. And that guy's an airplane. All right. Okay. That guy turns green. Okay. And I'm just like, "Whoa, Dad, did you see the Hulk?" And he's like, "Yep." He's looking at his watch. But he did it though, and that meant that he went to. I dragged him to so many things, to plays and everything. We watched The Crucible together, and my dad is a connoisseur of art for sure, but not. He loves his cowboy movies and his old westerns, and so just taking him to all that stuff, I was like, God, poor guy. But he supported me through it.
Oh yeah.
Even if he didn't understand it, he was there, and that I think that means a lot. Just showing up.
Yeah. No, I think I'm not a parent. I would like to be one day, but I don't know what it's like to be, but I do know something my dad did a lot, and my mom is sort of the like, sometimes we don't understand our Alex. We don't know what he's doing, but they were at least there to listen and like try to ask questions about it and learn more, right? So it's like Transformers. That's cool. Yeah. That's cool, man. But that's not their world, and they're like,
but that's huge because I know so many people whose parents didn't understand them and didn't try.
Right. Yeah.
And now they're like, I don't talk to my mom. I don't talk to my dad.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't. My parents and I haven't always been best friends, but like, I can't imagine a world where I can't just call up my dad and be like, "Hey, man, what are you doing? What you up to?" Like that's.
That sucks so bad. Yeah. Dang. But yeah, it's I'm so grateful for my parents too for being interested and supporting, because we're in such a weird, wild world. So to have support, despite it being insane, is so crucial. But but thanks for doing this,
dude.
Man.
Of course, thank you.
Is there anything like last remarks that come to mind?
I mean, I love what you're doing with this. I think this is such a cool concept, and like I've seen a couple of the stuff, and I just wish you the best.
Thanks, man.
I think it's so cool to do that. I mean, you came to my place,
which
which is huge.
No, this is it's nice because then I get to go like hang out with people.
Yeah,
and
I think that's really cool.
Yeah. I mean, my setup's really minimal right now. It'll be funny to look back on later.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna show up with like 5 guys and like a whole lighting setup, and you're like, "This is my
They
crew."
just don't talk to you the whole time. You're like,
I'm like, "Hey guys, you guys want anything?" They're like, "Sorry,
they're like, sorry,
we're not allowed to talk to you.
Yeah,
Your talent. Sorry,
we just did math a week ago. We're extras, and we're now filmmakers. Yeah.
But if I had any last remarks, it would be art is beautiful, and art is expression, and expression is a human necessity.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one of my favorite quotes from one of my favorite movies, Y tu mamá también, is La vida es como la espuma, entonces hay que darse como el mar, which means life is like the foam, so we must give ourselves to the sea. And I think that's just the way I like to live.
Dang.
Yeah. It's great. Have you seen Y tu mamá también?
No.
Oh, you gotta watch it.
Yeah.
You gotta watch it.
I gotta watch it. Send me a link.
Yeah. I think it's on Netflix.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Awesome.
It's a good one. Alfonso Cuarón, Diego Luna, Gael García Bernal.
Hell yeah. 2
horny Mexico City teens trying to bang a Spanish woman, and they learn about life on the way.
Yeah, had me horny.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Well, thank you, man.
Yeah,
it's been
of course,
awesome.
Of course,
Appreciate
buddy.
it.